Hi, welcome back to my channel. I know, it's been a while since I posted something, but this is the beginning of a new era. Maybe. But I really plan so, but sometimes plans can change. It's the plan of relaunching my channel, having better editing, as you might have noticed, because I have a professional editor now. His name is Anton. You find the link down below. Of course, he also has a YouTube channel, and his YouTube channel was the reason why I hired him as an editor. And I mean, Anton is amazing to me because he's in Kiev, Ukraine, in the middle of a war, and still able to edit my videos. So I very gladly transfer money to him so he does that job, and hopefully he can have a somehow decent life. I can relate somehow to the whole Ukraine crisis, just somehow, because I'm still Swiss, so I haven't seen a war ever, and in Switzerland we haven't seen war for hundreds of years. Even the Second World War was not really a war here. But my grandfather left Crimea 100 years ago more or less, when Lenin came. So basically my roots are over there. Yeah, that's why the complicated name of Vyazmitinov. But I digress. New channel was the most important thing I wanted to say. New lab, some investments in hardware, because I realized that sometimes it's better to have good tools. Another thing you might have noticed since the last video I made. Look close. No more glasses. I got my eyes lasered. Now I see sharp. Far, far away. That's amazing. That's amazing. No more glasses for mountain biking. No more glasses for diving. I can't wait until I go diving next time. So, but I digress. What I wanted to show you first is my new lab. It's the same lab as before, but I did a lot of changes to it. So this first video of my new channel will be around my lab. So, the new lab. I have expanded a little bit down here. Let me show you where we start with storage. Because I've gotten so much stuff, I needed to have a proper storage and a proper work area. So let's start with storage. I even added automatic light. So as soon as you open the door, the light goes on. Tripod is in the way. So up here, all the screws, M2 to M6. Unfortunately, my storage is already too small, so no space for M8 and others. They are somewhere else. Lots of electronic stuff. The big boxes over there. So, you know how it is, you collect the piece here, a piece there. All these boxes, for example, I got them for free from somewhere. And so I could stack a lot of boxes and somehow write what's in it. But it's just a great way of working to just know where your stuff is. And me being a rather chaotic person, it's still not perfect, but it increases my efficiency massively. And that was actually the goal. Because one thing I realized with that pay raise I got is it's always a compromise. What? Your time costs money too. And when I had less money, I was like really penny pinching every little thing. But especially my last job, where we had a whole prototyping R&D department, but also a series production of machines, I realized that these people are working with expensive professional tools. But for example, if you have to crimp some contacts and you crimp 1,000 contacts a day, which is totally doable, I did it, then it makes a difference whether you have the cheap crimping pliers or the good ones. And same is for that whole lab. I realized that some investments are needed just in order to improve efficiency to get further, because I mean, I have my day job, so day hours are blocked. So how do I get projects going in the evenings or during the weekend? It's by being efficient. So once I take something out of storage, I bring it in here because that's stuff I had in that company I was working for. Unfortunately, it didn't really work out, and I'm very happy that I switched to another company where I'm working now. But there it has the huge storage space. You walked in, you did a pick according to your bill of materials. You picked all the stuff you needed. You went back to your work desk and you started assembling. And all these processes are kind of inspiring to me, so I try to rebuild it here. So here is where mostly for assembling, I have this desk over here. That's the assembling area where you assemble stuff. Back here you see a 3D printer, of course. It's obviously a 3D printer in action printing something. I don't tell you what it's printing right now. That's for the next episode or for a later episode. Probably not the next one, but yeah, I'll come back to many 3D printer projects. And it comes with a big, originally it was 8 kilograms of filament. Now it's more than half empty, so I still have probably 1 or 2 kilograms on here. That works. I will do a video about all the little tweaks I did to my 3D printer to make it more efficient. Yeah, over here just some shelves with stuff. I mean, it's still slightly chaotic. And over here is the electronics area. So up here I put in a big power supply, 24 volts, 1200 watts something, with the big ampere meter and voltmeter, so I can monitor big motors, because I had rather beefy brushless motors going on for another project, which I will also tell you in a following video. Precision voltmeter from HP. That thing must be probably 30 years old or whatever, but it tells me a very precise voltage, and it came out of a dumpster, so I just had to take it. Then I got also for a very good price this oscilloscope. So here I have a nice oscilloscope, 4-channel Rigol, was also very useful to debug motors. When I was working on that other project, I will tell you soon. And down here is the electronics desk where I can do electronics, where I have the soldering iron, the tin, and everything else. And of course the PC, which is currently not running, to look up stuff, to program stuff. So, sorry if it's shaky, but at least it's aligned. So, down here we have the electronics board, the electronics table. As I said, here I'm gonna do electronics. This is an ESP32 for my next little project, the test PCB for it, the stepper motor, another stepper motor with a spindle. What the hell is this? I will tell you. A nice little vise to attach stuff to that desk. So that's the electronic workspace, which also works very well. Also has another power supply up here for 12 volts, 5 volts, 3.3 volts, because it's a PC power supply. Down here I have the air compressor for some compressed air in case I need it. Very useful thing I have here. Actually, you see that table is quite high. That card, you see still the sticker, it was discounted for a very cheap price. And it's just amazing to know where your tools are. It's still a bit of a mess, but at least it is somewhere in that drawer, which is already very useful. And of course, the company I worked before, they had lots of these cards, better equipped, and that's what sparked the idea for me. I also need one like this. Yeah, this is still kind of chaotic storage. That's the, you always have some stuff where you don't know where to put it. So yeah, that's that stuff. Except here, yeah, resistors, yeah, they are here. Yeah, over here I made a charging station to charge all my electronics, especially this camera here, the microphone. I have a second microphone up here. Here's also another battery charger for the secondary camera. And it's cool to have it all contained up here, so I can just plug it in and leave it there. So, yeah, that is the electronics lab and assembling space of my little, can I call it the basement factory? Probably not. It's a lab. It's still a lab. Yeah, So that part is good. Oh, last but not least. Last but not least, the cemetery for electronics. You see a few Arduinos that have died. This is a Nano. This is a prototyping board. Oh, this is still from Everycook, actually. Yeah, that's an old Raspberry Pi 1, first generation that I fried. I don't remember how, but Shoal rest in peace. All these nice electronics, they did a good job. You might remember that I had a second lab for all the mechanical stuff, and I had to get rid of it because the person I made a deal, like, I built a mechanical workshop in your basement, but so we use it together. That person unfortunately had to move out. So I had to get all my mechanical stuff in here. It was in here for several months, but then it was so crammed in here that I was like, no, I can't work like this. I didn't have that work desk back there because it was all the mechanical stuff. And then there's the second thing is, you don't want to have metal chips close to your electronics. You somehow want to separate that stuff, because one little chip of metal on your PCB is gonna fry everything. So I needed a workspace. And as an inventor, I invented something. You might notice that this is not exactly the same color. It's just because I put in the whole wall here. Actually, management is not too amused by this approach. I mean, I try to sell them, look guys, I am willing to pay rent for something you didn't even know you have. So you basically can make money out of nothing. Isn't that a killer argument? I was like, I mean, they're gonna love me. Of course not. They're bureaucrats, so it's like, no, we can't do that. I still have to renegotiate with them. For now, I haven't heard anything, so as long as I don't hear anything, I can use it. That is back here. It is really small, but it is big enough. Come in. So, what do we have here? That is the big drill press I had. Actually, one of the reasons I went to that neighbor to get his basement was that he had 3-phase current I needed for that big motor up here. And so I don't have 3-phase current down here, so I was kind of blocked. But you might see something over here. This is a variable frequency drive, VFD, and that one makes me the 3-phase current out of 1 phase, and so I can run my little motor up here. And that down here is the lathe. You might also have seen it. It also got upgraded with a VFD, so I can continuously adjust the speed, which is very useful, especially on a lathe. I have this little measurement clock to check if something is round or not. I got some new tools also. That's the little lathe, also waiting to be used. But then up here I have my grinder, which also was on the shelf before. I am tall, so I put stuff up because then it gives me space down here. So I work on several levels. That's probably the secret how I got everything into such a tiny cramped space. Yeah, you might know this one. The Dremel is also hanging. It's down here for minor adjustments. The whole cable collection I had, where I store my cables. It's not the best way to do it, but it's easy. One of my favorite tools, the angle grinder, is here waiting to be used, plugged in. I just have to pull it out. Then I have my old battery drill, which now is connected to a power supply. Because, I mean, that thing is also probably 20 or more years old, and the nickel-cadmium battery was dead. So now it doesn't need any battery anymore. Yeah. So basically that is the mechanical part. That's the mechanical part of my lab. So I have here the mechanical part on this side, and on this side over here I have electronics and assembly. So it's basically all I need to make great projects. One project is back here. One project is back here. Lots of stuff is in here. I will tell you more in the upcoming episodes. So far, thank you very much for watching. Feel free to ask any questions about my lab in the comments down below. I'll try to answer you on how to build a lab on a budget, because it's still a very, very affordable lab. I mean, compared to the companies I've worked for, they spend 10 or 20 times more to get to about the same results than I. So even if I have invested into some equipment, it's still rather affordable. And of course, like every YouTube channel will tell you that, like and subscribe and come back. And also like and subscribe Anton's channel, which is linked down below. I'm pretty sure he's going to be happy for likes. And check out his videos. He has very useful content on how to improve your YouTube. So if you're watching YouTube, maybe you're doing YouTube, maybe you might want to look at his ideas. Thank you and bye-bye.